Week 2 is here. Welcome back to Defending Football. Thank you guys so much for watching. So happy that you guys love the UFL just like me. So today we're going to be going over all 4 games for Week 2. I'm going to give you a score prediction as well and how I feel these teams will perform this weekend. So whether your team is 1-1 or 0-1, it's going to mix up the standings a lot this week. So definitely a lot of games you want to pay attention to. Game 1. This might be game of the week. You have the San Antonio Brahmas traveling to the Memphis Showboats. And both teams ended up getting a win last week. Obviously the Brahmas looked very good on offense, very slick. And they played some pretty good defense as well. And they have Wade Phillips, probably the best defensive coordinator in this league. And they got AJ Smith as their offensive coordinator. Super creative. And he got the ball out of Chase Garber's hands really fast against DC, which kind of neutralized the blitz of DC and exposed them pretty hard early. The thing is, the Memphis Showboats barely gave up anything against the Houston Roughnecks last week. So we don't know if that's the Roughnecks having a bad offense or if that's the Showboats having a good defense. This one is very up in the air for me, but I really do like Case Cookus on the Showboats. He showed a lot of toughness last week. They could not run the ball whatsoever. I think they had 2 yards. You almost have to be trying to only have 2 rushing yards in an entire football game. So because of this reason, they're going to have to lean on Case Cookus this week. The San Antonio front is very strong. They're not going to let you run. I think the Brahmas get the victory. I'm going to say 33-22. A weird score, but it's hard to figure out with the extra points what the scores would be. I think it's going to be pretty close, but in the fourth quarter, the Brahmans are going to pull away. Game 2, you have the Arlington Renegades traveling, being sacrificed on a pedestal, having to go into St. Louis. Once again, the Renegades are the first team to travel to St. Louis. I think the Renegades are going to show up and play a little bit better than they did against the Stallions, saying they're so good, so maybe the Renegades just couldn't get anything going because they were so good. But I think against the battlehawks, they are a lot more susceptible on defense. If they can get AJ McCarron going early and often, which I think they will have to do in this game, I think the battlehawks have a great showing in front of their home crowd. They're looking for 40 plus people in that building. I'm no battlehawks fan, but this is amazing for the league, and I'm super happy that a team has that much support. Luis Perez looked pretty good last week, but he was very hot and cold. Either way, one of these teams will get a win in the XFL conference, but I think the St. Louis Battlehawks end up winning. I think the Battlehawks take a big lead in this game, and then the Renegades score some garbage points as well. But I do think the Battlehawks, they should win this game, I'll say. They should win this game. Game 3, you have the Birmingham Stallions on the road for the second week versus the Panthers, who are home for the second week. Panthers had one of the biggest upsets of the week last week, winning the game on a 64-yard field goal. Probably the best UFL game we've seen so far. And they pretty much almost dominated the Battlehawks all game till the very end. So they looked pretty good and they kind of impressed me. EJ Perry does have to turn the ball over a little less. One of them was not his fault, but still. And the Stallions obviously looked good. They can run the ball with ease. Matt Corral as QB1 does some very interesting things for me. I should take the Stallions here. But for some reason, I really like the Panthers. The Panthers defense looks really good, and if they can slow down the Stallions, I think they definitely have a shot in this game. They got to muddy it up, run the ball, and score points when you need to score points. I know I shouldn't be doing this. I might be the only person to do this, but I'm going to say the Panthers win this game 19-17. I think something crazy is going to happen in this game. This is a big USFL division game so far, and I'm going to go Panthers. I know. I would not be surprised if the Stallions won, but I just want to pick the Panthers. I just want to so bad. Game 4, closing out the weekend. You got the Houston Roughnecks heading to Audi Field in DC with the Beer Snakes, with the Lemons. I am confident, but DC shot themselves in the foot a lot last week. Hopefully you guys did watch my recap of that game. Most of that game was Gene DeLance playing poorly. Without him making the key mistakes he made in that game, DC probably pulls out a win, or at least they get way closer than they were. Looking at the Roughnecks from last week, Jared Garantano didn't necessarily play poorly on the stat sheet, but if you really watch the game, he did pretty much nothing of substance. The O-line could not protect, and they were technically graded the worst O-line in the league. And honestly, I like both defenses in this one. The interior line for the Roughnecks is ridiculous. That's why I think the defenders need to run outside the box, get creative, and don't let that defense just tee you up and take you down. You got to get them running side to side, But the Roughnecks defense did look fantastic last week. But their offense, that's the problem. Even though DC didn't score a technical touchdown, they really did score 2 touchdowns in that game, both called back. Don't overthink it. The DC Defenders are going to win this game, get our first win of the season, and we've never lost in Audi Field, and we're not starting with the Roughnecks. We're going to win 26-11. It might not be as pretty as you want it to be, but it is a win that we need, and we're going to get it. So those are my predictions for the UFL in Week 2. Let me know what you guys think down below, and please watch all the games. They're going to be amazing. So I'm going to get out of here, and for the love of football, defend football, baby!